this came out on my timeline, and I gotta say, it really ticked me off. It's been a while since I actually got angry over stuff that I saw on Twitter, and now it happened. And the reason I got so angry is twofold, both the top and the bottom. So the first one is that now they are praising Mr. Beast. All of a sudden, they're praising him now, like right now. I remember when he actually built the wells, and this was even reported in the press, that a lot of leftists were very unhappy with the fact that he was building the wells. And even certain politicians were upset that, oh, this is the white savior complex. He's coming to Africa. Africa doesn't need him. So like back then, leftists were really upset. And the reason they're upset is because they do not believe in charity. Like, the correct solution is to feed your money to the government because the government is pretty much God and it knows how to spend your money better than you do. So they really hated Mr. Beast, but for some reason, now I get to see memes where he is being praised for building wells in Africa. Okay, very interesting. The second one is the constant picking on my childhood superheroes. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I actually grew up with these guys, and the interesting thing is that they're now picking on them, not just through the memes, but if you play the Suicide Squad game, you will notice this theme where Harley Quinn actually executes Batman, and Harley Quinn just becomes a sock puppet for the writer, where she lectures Batman for being an evil person as he goes around and terrorizes people that are mentally ill. So this is the vibe they are going. And the question is why? Why are they trying to pervert Batman so bad? And the answer to this is that the comic books that I grew up with were written by people that actually wanted to help young men. So the comic books were written in a way that it was attractive for young men. They were filled with action, but they were also filled with a lot of American values. The same way that wokeness is being injected into everything now, comic books of old had actual values that you as a parent would want your child to learn by reading from the comic. So in the case of Batman, what exactly are the values that we're looking at? Well, the first one is that crime doesn't pay. Like, this is one of the most essential things in most American superhero comics, is that crime doesn't pay. So it would tell the young child that he shouldn't even think about committing crime because he would get punished. And this was like spread throughout almost every American medium. Whether it was TV show, whether it was cartoons, whether it was comic books, the crime doesn't pay and the long arm of the law were a classic theme that was bombarded into young adults constantly. And I think that was a good thing. The second thing was the fact that Batman had the sense of justice. So he wouldn't allow bad things to happen. Like, he had a strong moral compass. He knew right from wrong. He had his own code. And even though he was a vigilante, he was trying to defend the weak. And I think, like, this is what the writers wanted young adults to know. It's like how to be a man. What exactly is masculinity? And in the case of Batman, masculinity was to train himself at peak human perfection, to be the strongest that exists, to become the beast, basically, but also to discipline himself, to channel the beast in a productive way in order to defend the innocents, in order to defend the people who are weaker than him, in order to defend the people that couldn't defend themselves, basically. And of course, modern leftists absolutely hate these moral values, and because evil cannot create, they have to destroy. Now, when I say that evil cannot create, I cannot possibly think of anything similar to the superheroes that I grew up with being created in modern times. I can find them in anime. I mean, if you look at Naruto, My Hero Academia, there's plenty of examples and good moral lessons about respecting your family, building friendships, loving your nation. Like, there are a lot of good themes in anime, but I can't think of any good themes in any recent TV shows that come from the West. Like, what exactly do you have to learn from The Boys? What are the good themes that you can learn from The Boys? Because I can't think of any. Hazbin Hotel. You know, which is the type of character from Hazbin Hotel that you would like your son to become like? I can't think of any, right? Like everything that the West makes now has absolutely no moral value. whatsoever. So not only are they not capable of creating moral value, they have to pervert the things that existed before. And I remember reading a recent Batman comic a couple of years ago, and it was about an Antifa-like riot. Joker went on the city and he released the poison gas, made everyone crazy. And what Batman does is he sees people stealing television sets, he sees people looting and burglarizing stores, and he has this monologue, which again is the writer using Batman as a sort of VTube avatar, and he is saying that, oh, I shouldn't judge these people because societal factors is actually causing them to break into the stores. And this is a vibe that you get to see with the new comic book writers. There was the lady that for a while wrote Daredevil, and she was also at an event where she held a speech, and it was the exact same stuff. It was like, well, when I write Daredevil, the first thing that I do is like Daredevil sees someone mugging someone else, like he sees someone robbing a purse, and then Daredevil stops to think and analyzes the socioeconomic factors and the background of the criminal before he decides whether to intervene or not. Completely immoral, no sense of justice, no good lessons to be learned. The idea that crime doesn't pay or that the long arm of the law doesn't exist. Absolute perversion of the characters, and also a fundamental lack of understanding of the characters. Like in the case of Batman, he doesn't just dress up as a bat and terrorize the mentally ill, which, by the way, in his universe, they actually need a little bit of terrorizing. Like Poison Ivy hates humanity. Like, she doesn't even have anything human left in her. And she kills people. She needs to be stopped, right? And if she is terrorized so that she doesn't do it again, for the people of Gotham, that's a good thing. The Joker. Like, are you telling me that the Joker doesn't deserve it? I mean, we can go through the crimes that he committed. One of the most vile ones is raping Barbara Gordon in front of her father and taking pictures of that. You know, if you actually read the comics, this is not in the TV show, but the comics are quite dark. You would notice that, yeah, like when fighting villains like that, it's understandable why the people root for Batman. But I constantly see this with the left, especially when it comes to other IPs like Warhammer 40k. They always root for the bad guys. They root for the Tyranids. They root for the forces of chaos. They're rooting for Batman's villains. Like this is their morality. And it's not that they have it themselves, but they want your kids to have it. They want to push it through the comic books that kids watch and read. They want to push it through the TV shows, through the movies. And this is why it really disturbs me, right? Especially now that I have a son, and I'm thinking like, okay, if he picks up one of these garbage comic books and gets some of these garbage takes and garbage morality, is that even good for him? So, it's one of the reasons that I got upset. But the other reason is like, they don't know the character. Bruce Wayne constantly donates a lot of wealth to philanthropical endeavors. Like, he donates to children's hospitals, he donates to making the Arkham Asylum better and having better staff to try and treat the criminals. He donates money to the poor. He creates, through Wayne Enterprise, new technology to help people. Like, he actually does all these things in the comic. It's not like, oh, he puts on a Batman suit and that shit, right? So, like, even the comic is teaching people the value of charity. Which, again, leftists absolutely despise. They genuinely hate the concept of charity. It's like the only type of charity is to have a big government, massive, with a huge bureaucracy that requires big paychecks, and maybe like something goes to the actual people that need it after the money exchanges hands from that bureaucracy. It's absolutely disturbing. You know, like again, it's something so small. Many people don't think about it, but it's so fucking insidious. It is so fucking insidious when you realize that many parents do not have time to educate kids. So the kids start reading these comic books, they start watching these TV shows, and when you look at the themes and the morals and whatnot, it's almost like priming them to accept left-leaning ideology. It's almost priming them to accept, hey, you know what, like, if people riot and they steal shit, do we really care? I mean, they have insurance, don't they? That's the problem. And again, like many people will look at it and they will pick up a new Batman comic and they will say, oh, this is the comic that I grew up with. I'm sure little Billy will like it. But no. No, that's not a good idea. You should read the comic yourself. You should actually judge if the messages in the comic are something that you should promote. Because I guarantee to you, while the name is still Batman, the writers definitely aren't the same as the ones that you grew up with. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that the writers that are now, they probably hate the writers that you grew up with. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.